Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Premier League Clean Slate, your weekly daily fantasy preview show on DraftKings TV. My name is Jamie Hinks from DraftKings FC and I'm here to run you through an exciting Saturday's action in the Premier League. It's week 38 of the season and every single team plays at the same time on an exciting final day. Head over to the DraftKings lobby after watching this video and you'll find plenty of contests. For the final Sunday of the season, starting at 3 PM in the UK and 10 AM on the East Coast, there's a special $15,000 striker contest where you can win a share of £10,000. So let's get on to the games themselves. There are still two huge issues to be decided at the top end of the league. Spurs travel to Newcastle knowing that a draw should give them second place. If they contrive to lose that game, it's all down to Arsenal. They play the worst team in the league, Aston Villa, and if they win that, they'll get second place. The final Champions League spot is also up for grabs. Swansea are hosting Man City, and the visitors need at least a draw to make sure that they get fourth place for Pep Guardiola's first season. Man Utd can still get fourth place with a win against Bournemouth, and even West Ham could get fourth place if they win and both Manchester sides lose, plus they need a 15-goal swing in the goal difference column, so it's pretty unlikely. Point to remember on the final day is that there will be plenty of changes, and managers have already said in press conferences that they're willing to change their teams quite a lot. Give some youth players a chance before next season to prove their worth. Also, look upon any team in the middle half of the league to do this because a lot of them have nothing to play for and it's something that will give you an opportunity to take down the bigger prizes in the EPL Striker finale this week. So let's get into the players themselves who have been picked from the Sunday 3 PM slate of 10 games. At goalkeeper, in the stud section of the market, we've got Peter Cech at 4,500. He's up against Aston Villa, who have scored just 27 goals all season, which is the worst in the Premier League. Plus, Arsenal kept the second highest clean sheet total in the whole league behind Manchester United. Then, David De Gea, 4,400, Manchester United. He's the best goalkeeper in the league. Man United have the best defensive record on home soil this season and have only conceded 8 goals all season. Plus, I think he's going to want to atone for a really poor day against West Ham, and Bournemouth will be in the line for no goals as a result. Simon Mignolet, 3,600, or Danny Ward, 3,500 is my first value pick in goal. Whoever plays in goal for Liverpool is playing against a West Brom side that does tend to not score many goals, and whichever one of them plays is a good shout for a clean sheet. Mignolet is averaging 13.3 fantasy points per game over the last 3 games, and Ward has 4.5 saves per game this season, and I mean that's going to give you around 10 fantasy points on its own. Then we've got Christian Nordfeldt, 2,900, who's going to get his debut for Swansea because Lucas Fabianski's being rested by Francesco Guidolin. City take a lot of shots and they need to win this game, though the inexperience of Nordfeldt could mean that City get a lot of goals, so you need to watch out for that. Defenders at the top end of the scale, we've got Leighton Baines. He's $5,000 on DraftKings, but even before Martinez was sacked earlier on this week, Baines was really starting to tear it up for Everton. And over the last 3 games, he scored 14.6 fantasy points per game. This week he plays against the Norwich side, who they have nothing to play for. The pressure will be off, so they will attack more, and it will give more opportunity for Baines to get in behind them. Then Ryan Bertrand, 4,400 for Southampton. He's had a really tough couple of games the last 2 weeks, so I mean, don't take too much notice of his points there. He's played Man City and Tottenham, but now he gets to play against Crystal Palace, who have got more than an eye on the FA Cup final next week against Manchester United. And in the 2 games before, the ones against Manchester City and Tottenham, he averaged over 10 crosses per game. At the value end of the market, Alan Neom, 3,000 from Watford. Outgoing manager Quique Sanchez-Flores was happy to play centre-backs at full-back, but I think he was probably going to revert to Neom for this game. And if that's the case, he's a must-pick. Sunderland's fullbacks are so attacking, and Neom can get behind them and really get some big points for you. Kieran Trippier for $3,000 from Tottenham Hotspur. He's disappeared almost since Spurs went out of the Europa League earlier this year, and Pochettino could look to rest some players this week. The fullbacks are such a big part of their game, and Trippier, he's scored 10, 7, 5, 5 in the cross column in his last 4 games, and he tends to score a lot of points on DraftKings. So moving into midfield, at the top end, we've got Dimitri Payet, 8,100. What a season this guy's had. He had another huge game against Manchester United in midweek and scored 32 points in that one. He's now averaging 20.2 fantasy points per game for the season, and no other player in the whole of the Premier League's got above 20, and everything West Ham do goes through him. They've still got a chance of a Champions League spot, and they need to win to get the Europa League spot guaranteed. After him, Dusan Tadic, 6,600. He's been the Premier League's best fantasy midfielder the last 4 games. He has 2 goals, 6 assists, and is averaging 23.25 fantasy points per game. Palace is a really favourable matchup, and he can exploit the injuries that they have in defensive midfield. So at the value end, Kevin Morales, 3,500 from Everton. He's had 2 double-digit fantasy point days in a row now, and he scored 12 points against Sunderland in midweek in a game that Everton lost 3-0. He didn't have a great relationship with his former manager, Roberto Martinez, but now that Martinez has gone, he should thrive, really. Then Charlie Adam, 3,300. He faces a West Ham side that really can't defend. He scored 10 points and 18 points in the last 2 weeks, and of course he had a goal last week against Crystal Palace. He's always a threat from distance, and with Darren Randolph in goal, he looked really shaky. Then at forwards, there's only one person to pick here at the top end, Sergio Aguero, 7,900. You have to have him in your lineup. Swansea have a rookie goalkeeper between the sticks, and Aguero has 8 goals in his last 6 games, and he's scored for 6 games in a row. And the Golden Boot is still in his sights. Anthony Martial, 6,400, is the other guy at the top end of the market. He's in a team that really need to win the game and win well to get the Champions League spot. He's United's most dangerous attacking prospect, and Tuesday night against West Ham was an illustration of that. He has 4 goals in his last 3 games in all competitions, and he'll want to push for a starting spot in the French squad at Euro 2016. So at the value end, our last player for today, Dwight Gale, $4,000. Last time against Stoke, he had a brace. Pardew said he'll probably start this game in advance of the cup final, and Gale will really want to make an impression so that he possibly will get a start at Wembley. So my final thoughts this week are, watch out for some big surprises in the lineups before kickoff. When the teams are released, this will be a big indicator of whether there could even be a huge result on the final day of the season. This happens quite often, and it's something to really take advantage of. Finally for today, check out DraftKings FC after you finish watching this video. There's some great strategy and research content every day there covering all the leagues we offer. I'm Jamie Hinks. You can find me on Twitter at JamieHinksDK, and I hope you have a great Premier League weekend.